Margaret sat in her favorite armchair by the window, watching the autumn leaves dance in the breeze. At 78, her hands were marked with age spots, and her joints protested each morning, but her spirit felt strangely lighter than it had in decades. Her granddaughter Emma, visiting from college, noticed the well-worn Bible on her lap. "Grandma, are you afraid of getting older?" Emma asked, settling onto the floor beside her chair. Margaret smiled, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "I used to be, sweetheart. But then I started really paying attention to what God says about aging. Would you like to know what changed my perspective?" Emma nodded, and Margaret opened her Bible to passages she'd marked over the years. Truth 1. Gray hair is a crown of glory. "The first thing that surprised me," Margaret began, touching her silver hair, was Proverbs 16:31. "Gray hair is a crown of splendor. It is attained in the way of righteousness." Our culture tells us to hide our gray, but God calls it a crown. Every silver strand represents years of experience, lessons learned, and wisdom gained. She remembered her 50th birthday when she'd cried over her first gray hairs. Now she understood they weren't signs of decline, but badges of honor. Truth 2, God never abandons us in old age. Psalm 71:9 became my anchor, Margaret continued. "Do not cast me away when I am old. Do not forsake me when my strength is gone." And verse 18 says, "Even when I am old and gray, do not forsake me, my God, till I declare your power to the next generation." She explained how she'd feared becoming invisible, irrelevant. But God's promise was clear. He stays close, especially in our vulnerability. Her purpose didn't diminish with age, it evolved. Truth 3. We can still bear fruit. Emma leaned forward as Margaret read Psalm 92:14. "They will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green." "I thought productivity was for the young," Margaret admitted. "But this year, I've mentored 3 young women from church, started writing letters to my great-grandchildren so they'll know their family stories, and volunteered at the Crisis Pregnancy Center. Different fruit, Emma, but fruit nonetheless." She told Emma about Mrs. Chen from her Bible study, who learned to paint at 82 and now creates artwork that hangs in the church nursery. Age didn't limit their contributions, it refined them. Truth 4. Our inner self is being renewed. 2 Corinthians 4:16 says something remarkable, Margaret said, her voice growing stronger. "Therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day." She explained how she'd mistaken physical decline for total decline. "Yes, my body isn't what it was. I move slower, forget names sometimes, need reading glasses. But my spirit? Emma, I understand grace better now. I'm more patient. I see God's hand in small things I used to rush past. Inside, where it matters most, I'm being renewed." Truth 5. Wisdom comes with years. Margaret turned to Job 12:12. "Is not wisdom found among the aged? Does not long life bring understanding? Your generation has information at your fingertips," she told Emma. "But wisdom, that's different. It's seeing patterns across decades, knowing what matters and what doesn't, understanding that most crises aren't as catastrophic as they seem because you've weathered storms before." She shared how younger people at church now sought her counsel on marriages, parenting, and faith struggles. "I don't have all the answers, but I've learned which questions to ask." Truth 6. God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. Isaiah 46:4 makes me cry every time, Margaret said, her voice catching. "Even to your old age and gray hairs, I am he who will sustain you. I have made you and I will carry you. I will sustain you and I will rescue you." She told Emma about the year she'd broken her hip. "I was so humiliated, needing help with everything. But that's when I truly understood grace. God carries us, Emma. When we can't carry ourselves, He doesn't shame us. He lifts us." Truth 7. Our latter days can be better than our former job lost everything, Margaret explained. But Job 42:12 says, "The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the former part." That doesn't always mean material blessings. For me, it means peace, deeper relationships, freedom from the anxieties that plagued my younger years. She smiled. I enjoy life more now than I did at 40. I stress less, love better, and appreciate everything more deeply. These are good years, Emma. Truth 8. We are being prepared for eternal glory. Finally. Margaret read from Romans 8:18, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Aging reminds us this world isn't our final home, she said softly. Every ache points me toward heaven. I'm not morbid about it. I plan to be here for your wedding, but I live with eternity in view. It makes everything lighter, more purposeful. Emma was quiet for a moment, then hugged her grandmother tightly. I hope I age like you, Grandma. Margaret laughed. Sweetheart, you will, one precious day at a time. And when you do, remember, God doesn't see our age as decline. He sees it as completion, like a painting nearly finished or a symphony reaching its crescendo. We're not fading away. We're being prepared for glory. Outside, the autumn sun broke through the clouds, flooding the room with golden light. Margaret closed her Bible, but its truths remained open in her heart. Promises that transformed aging from something to fear into something to embrace. Growing old, she'd discovered, wasn't about what she was losing. It was about what God was completing in her, one day of grace at a time.